a lot to get to with our buddy Wimp Sanderson, so let's get right to him, Brownie.
He is presented by our friends at Craneworks, the RentalWorks division at Craneworks. You can see more at craneworks.com. Welcome in, Coach. How are you?
Thank you. I appreciate RentalWorks and Craneworks having me on. You guys have always pushed real hard that the kids be allowed to do what they want to do and everything be fair and get what they need to get. And Jay Billis has all said that. I would assume that Will Anderson and Bryce Young will be very high in the draft when time comes. Correct?
Oh yeah, potentially number one picks, both of them.
Okay, then why should they play this year?
Because they love the game. They love the game of football. Number one.
Okay.
Hey, well, you always get upset when we interrupt you. Hang on now. They love the game of football. One. Number two, they're going to get paid if they want to a significant amount of money to play this year.
And if let me jump in. If Bryce Young wants to solidify cement his legacy as maybe the greatest quarterback in Alabama history, he needs to win a national championship if that means anything to him at all.
But Will Anderson doesn't have to play it down.
He does not. They don't have to at all.
He could sit on the couch and just work out.
So that's more important than taking a chance of getting hurt.
Yeah, I'm just saying he could do it if he wanted to. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do.
I just wanted to stir it up with you guys because you know so much about you.
No, but Whip, those guys they're also going to make seven figures each at least this year in NIL.
Yeah, and
that's not what they're going to make if they're sound and secure when they get ready to get drafted. So don't say it is because it's not.
Well, it's not. But I'm just saying they're still going to make that. They're still going to be millionaires this year to play a game they love.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think. They approach it with a professional attitude already, and there might be some professional franchises. I'm with Dunaway. I think we know on Will Anderson. Maybe we know on Bryce Young, though he's only been a starter for 1 year. But there are some professional franchises that might be turned off by a guy choosing to sit.
I think we've shown that's not the case. Look at Jamar Chase.
Yeah, no, and not all of them will be, but I said some might be.
Yeah,
I did a good job of getting you talking anyway.
Yeah.
Real quick, if it was your kid though, would you tell him to sit?
I'd think very hard about not telling him to sit. I'd want him to play.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just showing the different ideas and scenarios that we have now that we're having. It's just like the transfer portal. The transfer portal is for the elite. It's for the guys who at Jacksonville State average 15 points a game, but pretty darn good if somebody takes. It's for the elite. And what happens to the others, but y'all don't care, but the others might be your sons, the guys that are averaging 2 points a game are not going to be going to the transfer portal, but they're going to be dismissed to have to go. They're going to be dismissed or cut by the coach because of the numbers.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the portal is working both ways, and there are coaches who are telling players, that's the portal over there, and you need to hit the door. Because I'm bringing in another boatload of portal players and I don't have room for you. That is working both ways, and you're exactly right about that. Here's what's interesting. I'd love to hear what you think because the world has changed in 20 years from when Maurice Clarett was a star as a freshman and tried to challenge the NFL to go early to the NFL. 20 years later, if after the national championship loss, if Will Anderson had went and said, I'm leaving Alabama, we're going to challenge the NFL rule, I wonder if the courts 20 years later would have said, you know what, the NFL has the right to keep you out. With all this player freedom, all the freedom we have 20 years later, it wouldn't surprise me if the courts would have backed him up and we'd see Will Anderson the first overall pick tomorrow night.
Well, I agree. I think it's a possibility that the courts back then would have done that, but it's we're going through a difficult, different world right now, and it's just kids are getting in some cases good, in some cases bad. I have just indicated to you that it really hurts to see the Jacksonvilles, not North Alabama so much, we're not as good as Jacksonville, but the Furmans or people in that area lose kids because they made a good choice and got the guys developed and got them a lot better, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and takes them. And you wouldn't like him if you were coaching those teams. You disagree with me if you wish.
No. If I'm the coach right now, I don't know how I manage a roster in football and basketball. It is insane the number of people who are like, I can't even report every day the people of significance that go in the portal and then sign somewhere. I can't keep up with it, so I just let it wash over me. I don't even report it anymore. What I wanted to ask you, away from all of that, do you think when you see Jay Wright, who's in the Final Four, walk away at age 60, and we know 60 is the new 50 or 40, whatever you want to call it, that he's a young 60, do you see him walk away? Do you think part of this is what is going on with rosters and NILs and all of that?
Yes. He said he couldn't handle it anymore. Said he was worn out with it. He was on the edge. He was tired. He was tired of it. Naturally, he's going to go with the pros, I'm sure, in the future. But he just said, when I got into it, and the athletic director said, I begged him behind closed doors just to stay, hang in there. Everything's going to be okay. He just said, I just got I used the word burned out, I guess he said. I just didn't want to fool with him anymore. It's best for me to get away and get somebody else in there that has never done it before. He didn't say I've won 2. He kept his mouth. He wasn't a Coach K. I have won 2 national championships or so forth. So on. He just simply made the point that he'd had enough of college basketball.
Well, NBA, obviously a different animal. Calipari, Pitino did not have success there. Did you ever have an opportunity in the NBA as an assistant, or
No,
maybe?
I don't think I did. No, Tim Floyd was a good friend of mine who took the struggling Chicago Bulls after they lost everybody. But no, I really didn't. I stayed. When you stay somewhere 32 years and then you eventually get the job, the people are either glad or sad you got it. Most of them were sad I got it to start with, and they acted pretty glad when we won a few games. So I don't know.
The coach, Wimp Sanderson, with us, courtesy of the Rental Works division of Crane Works. He joins us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Did you? I don't even know who the NCAA president was when you were coaching. Do you?
Yeah, I can't remember either.
So Mark Emmert is going to step away, and we all believe that the NCAA is a diminishing entity. Do you agree with us that whoever takes this job will not have the same job, that the NCAA will lose its teeth over the next couple of years?
No, I don't know. Probably so. Whoever it is, there'll be some strong personality that takes it. That's for darn sure. And the NCAA may lose its what power it has. I'm not sure what power it has now. See, I'm not sure exactly where we are, and Lance and Jim, all y'all. I'm not sure exactly where we are, where we are cheating wise, raising money. I was just at Coach Saban's golf tournament and played and visited with him for a minute the night before, and I'm saying this, he didn't. I just listened, but the money is not going to pour into Alabama the way it pours into Texas and Texas A&M, for example, or other places. The abilities to win the championships, people are satisfied. They don't think anything's ever going to, and I don't feel like he really visited with him, really feels real comfortable. You're fixing to say to me, they're just going to give millions to Alabama. They're not. There'll be a portion of them will give money to the foundation which will want to be involved with athletics. So there are going to be some schools that you're going to be shocked with. I have a feeling Alabama's going to be one of them.
I convince, if I'm Nick Saban, I convince my players to tithe back to the program, just the way you tithe at church. Yeah.
Once you leave and start making millions.
Yeah, what was the number you gave the other day?
$1.7 billion since Saban got there.
$1.7 billion in NFL contracts. I mean, it'd be $170 million if they just tithe 10% back to the school. So if I'm Saban, I say go ahead and tithe 10% to the Lord, save 10% and tithe 10% back to Alabama football. We're going to use that to recruit the next year.
They're going to need to, because they're in a situation where I played golf with a couple of them, and they're in a little bit of a head-scratching situation. It doesn't pour in,
No, you're right.
Might think.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm right there, not because of me. I happen to be there in the middle of it for 2 days, and it's a head-scratching situation.
Coach,
okay.
I wanted to ask you one more thing before you do something else. Coach Bob Starkey did an interview with Jacques Doucette down in Baton Rouge about a story you did with Chris Jackson back in the day. Do you remember the story he told? Have you seen this video?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'll remind you of what happened, and you tell me if it's true or not. He tells the story.
Dale Brown bought him, okay? That's what
I knew that would happen, yes.
Chris Jackson, apparently they were playing a road game at Ole Miss, and as Jackson came out, he had some family issues, and so Jackson comes on the court, and the student body's there early for warm-ups, and they start chanting, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" He goes off and scores 50. Next road game, they go to Tennessee, and at Tennessee, warm-ups again, the student body, "Who's your daddy?" And they're clapping, and Chris Jackson scores 45 on them. And Bob Starkey tells Jacques Doucette, LSU comes to Tuscaloosa, and he's talking to you, and then the student body starts chanting, "Who's your daddy?" And you leave the conversation, run over to the student body and tell them to shut up. And then you come back over, and Starkey says, "Wimp, that's a classy thing you did there." And you told him, "Hell, I didn't want him to score 50 on us."
Well, how many did he score?
Yeah, I don't remember if I said that, did I? I might have, because I was kind of goofy back then, as you know, goofier than I am today. For all three of you guys, Clint,
wait, that's all you're going to give me on that story? You may have done that or not?
I think I may have, but I don't know.
You did it.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Because you're a good coach. That's good coaching.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, he was hard to guard. He had a lot of money. He had a lot of change in his pocket. He could move real fast. Yeah, I was with Dale the other day. Get this, boys. Phil Mickelson.
Oh yeah.
Is going to if Monahan lets him, going to play in 8 events up front. The fee, not counting what he would make on the course itself in those 8 games, 8 dates. Pardon me, $30 million for him.
Yeah, Wimp. They claim they've got 15 to the top 100. You think Mickelson's broke? Is why he's doing this?
I think. Well, of course, all of you know, Phil's a big gambler.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
and you can't win. So
no, and so $30 million up front before you ever tee it up.
And by the way, the rumor is he's about as good of a gambler as I am.
Yeah, that is the rumor.
Which means he could be broke.
Yeah. Well, I saw him gamble one time on a guy knocking the end out of the bunker, and he did.
Yeah.
I'll never understand that one. But.
Hey, they claim they have 15 of the current top 100. If they play their first event and 15 of the top 100 in the world are in that event, that is an amazing success for their first event.
Yeah, well, Monahan is not going to be.
Oh, they're going to fight it. Yeah,
they've got, and if he decides he's not going to play in one of the events, then they take a percentage of that $30 million. I wouldn't want anybody taking a percentage of my $30 million.
I'd be there every week. Trust me.
Yeah, I would be there every week. Put a tee in the ground. That's exactly right. Whether I have or whatever.
Where you want me, I'm there. All right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll get this thing settled quick. I'll be there. But they've got a situation in Portland where they're running they got 3 tournaments back to back to back where they're supposed to be playing. Or Phil was, and he's got a problem there, but going to be interesting to see.
All right, he is the coach, Wimp Sanderson. He joins us each week, courtesy of our friends in the Rentalworks division of Craneworks, Coach.
Well, whether you have a at-home project coming up or corporate construction job, you need to check out Rentalworks because they're the very best. I've already showed you all the machines that they have. They've got a lot of machines. I can name them all but one, I think, and I was very smart.
Yeah,
you are.
All of them can be used, certainly on the golf course. They have everything from landscaping equipment to excavators, and so you can check out a full fleet on Craneworks. Appreciate David having me on. Appreciate you guys having me on. I know you guys got plenty to do, so I'll let you go.
Thank you, Coach. Love you.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. That's the Coach Wimp Sanderson on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.